What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Sun Belt Syndicate, the 3B podcast, as we like to call it, the Belt Baseball Beginners. As always, go check out collegefootballdogs.com. We have a ton of articles dropping. We're going to try and do a lot of schedule releases as well. I know there's some guys working on ones for the Sun Belt as we speak, so we will try and get through all of them, all 14 of them, but give us some time to get through all of that. We are also part of the Dogs Media Network, which is rebranding to Dog TV here very shortly. We're also working on the website, so if you see some things moving around, just be aware of that. And as always, down below, Dubby is a sponsor of our show. Our affiliate link is SB Syndicate. You can use that at checkout to let them know we sent you over there. Also, again, just like last week, I actually don't have my container. I left it at work because that's where I need the caffeine, right, fellas? So speaking of the fellas, Seth, Marv, what's going on? I know Marv was cutting it close here today.
What's happening?
Glad to be here, man.
Still hadn't changed Marv's picture yet, have you?
No, we got to get that. Got to get the cops involved for that. I think there's like a thing that has to be lifted off of the.
Yeah, he can't even go to his kid's school because of you.
Yeah, I know.
50 feet.
It's better than 100, right?
Closer.
Shout out Daniel Clark if you're watching this. What's going on, guys?
Not much. If I look worn out, tired, and defeated, you can just call me the Raging Cajuns, considering they didn't win a game at the College Classic. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are well aware, but I had some truck issues, so I had two choices. I had a bike or a run over there to go get the truck today since I didn't have a car kind of late out. Right? What was that?
Shout out to Ford, right?
Yeah, shout out Ford, costing me $200 just to tell me what's wrong with it and then tell me it was going to be $1,300 to get it fixed. For those of you that don't know, only thing I had an issue with was getting the key out of the ignition. Essentially, it's going into park, but it's not registering that it is, not allowing me to take the key out. See, it feels stupid. I feel like an idiot, but hey, well, that's where we're at. The big thing is I needed to get this truck right because Marv and I are going to be showing up to App State versus Duke tomorrow over here in Durham, man.
That's right. Looking forward to it. And glad that we picked up that it's not at the Durham Bulls Park. It's actually on Duke's campus. I don't
really.
Yeah, I looked at it like all their games there this year. I don't think they're playing any home games at Durham Bulls Park.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe they got a new park, but I looked it up. It's been there since like 1933.
That's old.
Turf looks super new. I don't know if they renovated the stadium. That's why they were playing there. But, we will be on Duke University's campus tomorrow watching App State give them a good old little midweek smackdown.
I'm all for it. I was surprised and a little disappointed that it's not at Durham Bulls Park. Obviously, this was very strategic tonight. AAA national champs from last season with the hat to match. It's a AAA ballpark that's really nice. It's free to go to the game. It's also free at Duke tomorrow, so I'm not mad about that. But,
you know what I am mad about?
Yeah.
ASU's charging to park at baseball games this year.
What?
Really?
$5 to park.
And $10 to get in the game?
Yeah. You got to give me a hot dog at least if you're going to do that, man.
You got fire pits out there. You got fire pits, Seth.
Hey,
that's extra.
Listen, if the ambassador –
it is extra, isn't it? You're not even actually lying about that, right?
No.
If the ambassador jumps on tonight, ask him to make a couple phone calls. I'm sure we can get Seth some free parking at the games.
We're in the mercy of blowing our town tavern tonight, boys. He'll be here.
So he's got a draw bigger than us. Bigger than the biggest Sun Belt baseball podcast there is.
Marv, did Arkansas State finally come down to reality?
They've lost a couple games since our last talk, but they came back to reality.
Did Caldwell Community College finally beat them, or?
I don't think they played Caldwell Community College.
George Mason. Definitely George Mason.
Is that who they played this weekend? No, I don't think they played George Mason. We actually, my son Mason was tickled to death to find out there's a college that had his name in it. We watched them the first weekend, and he was like, "Hey, they're not very good." But every time we're seeing ESPN Plus, and we see them, we've got to check in. They were much more competitive than whoever they played this weekend.
Speaking of ESPN Plus, somebody's got to get on this too.
What's that?
What?
There is no ESPN Plus for baseball games so far.
That's where I've been watching all of them.
ASU. Where are they at?
Hey, they'll be the Duke game tomorrow will be on ACC Network, and all 3 games this weekend against Winthrop will be on the Ocho.
Yeah.
The Ocho.
Ocho.
They really should have called it that. They missed a really good opportunity because everyone's like, what does the plus mean? Everyone calls their stuff the plus. Call it something fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I know they do the wacky stuff with the Ocho, though, so it is what it is.
Let's postpone talking about app until maybe towards the end, and let's see if we can get Ambassador on here.
All right, we can do that. Well, let's
shout out Lady Cajuns, by the way.
Oh man, phenomenal! I saw I think it's a beat writer, James Madison, who actually wrote the post, but there's like only 4 conferences that have registered 2 wins over Oklahoma in the last many years. And the Sun Belt's now one of them because James Madison took them out a year or 2 ago. And then we just had the Raging Cajun ladies do it this past weekend. So would you 71 wins in a row at home before that happened?
That's what it was. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane.
That is insane. Powerhouse program, that's for sure. So, yeah, insanely impressive there. Let's start rolling through so we can get through some of these early ones. We're not going to focus on a lot of them, but we had a pretty good roster of midweek games for Tuesday, especially. Quite a few games here. I'd say I don't know, guys. What would you say is kind of the biggest game here? Is it Coastal versus Campbell?
Old Dominion.
Old Dominion and ECU?
Yeah. I mean look, on paper, rank-wise, Coastal and Campbell was the biggest game. But, yeah, ODU taking one, and I'm pretty sure that was at Keith LeClaire Stadium in Greenville. Or maybe it was – no, it was was it at Old Dominion?
I think it was at Old Dominion. Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I mean, ECU's a top 10 program for Old Dominion to get that win, even on the midweek. That's it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, walk-off, too. So that was a cool fashion. It's always – the walk-offs are like the coolest thing about baseball to me.
Is this Texas State team for real?
Well, not in this game. That game meant nothing. But
I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
I think Texas State's for real. Yeah, we'll definitely get to them. ULM had a good midweek. We'll get to the next slide too on Wednesday, but they beat Northwestern State, who's given
team's got 2 wins, man. No.
Well,
but
they had a good midweek.
Wins now. They have 4 wins now.
Right. Yeah, they had a good midweek to start with.
Troy, really.
Yeah. You had Southern Miss losing to Nichols. I know Golden Eagle fans are not happy about that one.
Nichols a good ball club, though. They're a good ball team. I think we thought last week, I think they were 7-1 coming in that midweek game. So, they weren't a slouch by any stretch of the imagination.
No. And I don't think the Georgia Tech over Georgia State, that wasn't any kind of surprise. App State gets by, a feisty East Tennessee State team, 9-6. So they got a lot of run support in that one. Arkansas State went down to Central Arkansas. Didn't see that one coming, but I think didn't we look at Central Arkansas is a pretty good baseball firm.
Yeah, they are pretty decent. Arkansas State didn't have a great weekend, but every America's sweetheart had to fall at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump over. I mean, I guess real quick. So we're saying ECU and ODU. That was one of them. Coastal trouncing Campbell 9-2 though. That's got to be the most impressive Tuesday, right?
Yeah, but if the score was the other way around 9-2 Campbell, I don't think we'd be surprised either.
No, that's true. That's very true.
But honestly, guys, I think Coastal, what's the old saying? They are who we thought they were. They're the number 1 team for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't disagree there. Oh, we got a graphic that's missing. Ooh. Anyway, that was supposed to be James Madison, George Mason. That game was postponed, and it was not played at all this week. So that graphic missing is not too big of a deal. Oh, we got another one down there at the bottom.
Georgia Southern's midweek?
That was if we had Tim over here on our comments again today, we'd know that instantly.
What's up, Tim? No Timbo? No Timbo?
No, not right now. I'll scroll up and see it. That was Jacksonville. So that's an easy drive for them down there in Statesboro to Jacksonville's next to nothing. In fact, you know what? I can fix this quite easily. So we'll just take that off real quick. I'll give this a little refresh and everything will show up. In fact, when I took it off the screen, it showed up immediately. What does that mean? So
who's in charge of marketing around here?
I don't know. Who's the idiot that does all these graphics, man? God.
Get a hold of HR. I got to file a complaint.
Yeah. But yeah, so Jacksonville and let's see this. There we go. All right, now we're back. There we go. All right. So Troy has just a shootout with Kent State, kind of surprising, 12-11 there in that one. I guess they had just played the night before. What was that score in that game the day before? 6-2.
6-2.
So they, essentially close the gap there, but get the victory. Cajuns hammer Northwestern State, which is good for them. I mean, that's kind of like regional rivalry. You don't really, or I don't know if it's a rivalry. I would say it's not a rivalry. It's a regional game you don't want to lose. It's probably like App playing Gardner-Webb or something. Yeah. ULM takes care of Stephen F. Austin. I don't know anything about Stephen F. Austin. So Nichols again playing another Sun Belt opponent tough. South Alabama. Is that the game? That was the game that had the walk-off strikeout, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
South Alabama's a solid squad, fellas.
They are.
Yeah. They absolutely are. Absolutely are, yeah. No doubt about it. So that pretty much rounds it up for the midweeks. Not nearly as exciting there Wednesday as Tuesday's roster, I'd say. But certainly less games to choose from as well. But thought we'd just go over those. We're going to save App for later, so we'll jump into the next one here with Arkansas State. Again, like you guys had mentioned, was it Seth? You ruined the surprise. A little less than favorable here with Missouri State getting the victory in the series 2-1 over the weekend. Thoughts on I forget who's the one that we've chosen to look over the records?
That's me. So 1-3 since we last talked. America's sweetheart. I think I dubbed him a regional contender last week. I can't remember who put in the comments like, yeah, they'll come down to reality, and maybe they are. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, lost to Central.
They're not.
Lost 2 out of 3 to Mississippi State, or excuse me, to Missouri State.
Mississippi State would have been a good loss.
That would have been a good loss. So from what I can tell, because none of these games are on ESPN and or on the Ocho. In the second game, the one that they won, I know that they scored 6 runs in the 4th and 5th inning, both. So they put up 12 runs in the middle. And then the third game, they gave up 5 home runs. So no offense in the first game, barely enough, a good middle stretch, if you will, in the second game. And then they just got hammered. They've got Murray State coming up midweek, and then they have Eastern Illinois, who is 1-9 on the season. So maybe they can get things rolling back in the right direction, get those regional hopes back on pace. And but yeah, I mean, listen, they were picked to be dead last, to be at 9-3 right now with 4 winnable games coming up. Get 3 out of 4 of those. I think they've exceeded expectations to start the season.
Yeah,
I agree.
No doubt about it. I mean, like you were saying, like they were primed to probably come back down. I don't know if I saw it against Missouri State, but
Missouri State's played a couple belt teams so far. So I don't know. I'd like to see one of their games live. Just haven't seen it.
Right. Yeah, that'd be nice. We'll get on that. I mean, ESPN Plus is such a huge avenue for us, but it seems like these early season games haven't been, like you said, easy
I'm about
to
done
find
with these
yet.
non-conference games. I'm ready for conference to get started.
2 more weekends, buddy.
Yeah.
2 more weekends.
Speaking of conference, this one's no longer a conference game, but it used to be a conference rivalry. We had Coastal Carolina sweeping the Liberty Flames. Everybody hates to see that one. But 8-7, 12-5, 7-0. I mean, there wasn't really much of a question except for maybe that first game in this series. But Liberty wanted to have this, taking down a ranked team, Sun Belt team, a team they used to play all the time. So I don't know.
Looks like all the private school money went to the football team.
Yeah. Their baseball facility is fantastic, by the way.
Oh, sure.
Liberty's, their entire campus is really nice. But so the first game on Friday night was canceled, so they played a doubleheader on Sunday, I believe, which was odd.
Yeah,
so
it was
in the first game,
supposed to be Saturday, and then they moved it to Sunday.
So in the first game, interestingly enough, Liberty was in control of that game pretty much the entire time. They walked it off. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth, Coastal did, to win the baseball game.
Wow.
So Liberty was kind of looked like they were in control. In the second game, it was a super tight game. Liberty was actually up. Coastal scores 10 runs in the 7th and 8th inning combined. So they were down 5-2 going into that. They had a guy, Blake Barthel, hit 2 home runs in that game. They had 4 home runs in the second game. Then in the third game, it was all about pitching. The starting pitcher goes 6 innings, only gives up 4 hits, and they bring in the reliever who goes 3 innings and gives up 0 hits. So just shut them down there. Once again, Coastal looks like the preseason number 1. They've got USC upstate in their midweek, and then Michigan. The Wolverines come to Conway this weekend, but Big Blue is 4-8 on the season so far.
Much like basketball.
Yeah.
Marv, I love your dedication, man. I love these stats.
You know what? Somebody's got to hold it down because we know you're not going to do it.
Hey, I'm in charge. I'm in charge of guest relations, bro. Get off me.
That's fine.
Guest relations.
Apparently, our advertising can't do his job either. So,
yeah, marketing, advertising.
I'm Andy.
Andrew Anderson. He runs the Villains podcast on the Dog TV network. So go check out his show. It's a good time. There's a lot of trash talking in that one. So definitely give that one a shot.
More than this.
They cover mostly the SEC, I think, is like their big bread and butter, but they cover it all. So definitely give them a shout if you like the little crazier stuff with the trash talk and everything. And we'll invite the trash talk here too. We're just trying to keep a little cleaner. But yeah, right there in the comments.
Any surprise for either one of you guys on Coastal?
No, like you said, Coastal's legit, man. That's cream of the crop right there.
I would say yes, not in the score or the sweep. But once you started telling me more about how they won these games, it's kind of surprising that, I look at this. Again, this is one I didn't take in at all. So to see the scores, this is one of those ones where it does not tell you the full story whatsoever, right? So, yeah, I'm surprised that they, kind of heated up at the back ends of those games 1 and 2. And then obviously they were just too much there in game 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little surprised, but not in the result, I guess I should say, but how it happened, I guess. This one, we'll get to our predictions at the end, as we always do. I'm really bad at this, by the way, so just so you guys know, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole in there. But
Dom, you and I got this one right, didn't we?
I did not get this one right. I got none right this week. Spoiler alert. So
I had the sweep in this one.
There's no easy grades and there's no participation trophies. You don't get the games exactly right. Doesn't matter if you pick the series champion overall. You got to get the games right. So, Georgia Southern takes the first one, 9-4 over the Camels. And then, extremely competitive in the rest. They do lose 10-7, 10-5 in the final 2. But, man, I come away impressed from this, I think.
Yeah, it is a win. But if you look at the overall aspect, still 4-7, But a long way to go.
But we talked about that 4-7. That's not a 4-7 against a bunch of measly opponents.
They've been playing. I've got to watch little small segments of a bunch of their games this year. When they get to conference, they're going to be fine. I think this is a good ball club. I hate to say that, obviously, as an App fan, but their record's not indicative of how good they are, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I agree. This Georgia Southern, like the parallels between their basketball team and their baseball team right now, kind of not that similar, but in the aspect of baseball or basketball didn't win a game outside conference, and then they win, I think, 6 games in conference basketball. Obviously, this isn't quite that bad, but you're not getting the win-loss record you want. But again, once they get into conference, they they've got now the experience and all these spots they've been put in to have handle it better or differently. So
there's some interesting midweek tests coming up this week. Georgia Southern, they've got Georgia. App's got Duke, and then Troy goes to Alabama. So we'll learn a little bit about these teams this week, just through the midweek, I think.
Yeah, Alabama previously undefeated until Dallas Baptist took them down, which
it's a solid squad too.
Yeah, Dallas Baptist is for real.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So that'll be interesting, especially with where Troy ended up, and we'll get to them, last over here at some point. But
even the loss, going back to Georgia Southern, even the losses were competitive. Marv may know more about the stats. The Twitter didn't give me much to go off of, but
that's not one of the. So just so everyone listening knows, we kind of assigned each other teams, so we weren't everyone trying to keep up with everything. So Georgia Southern wasn't one of the ones that was assigned to me, but I've been watching them. Once again, I think they're a good baseball team. I think when they get into conference, they're going to be easily top half of the conference. This Campbell's a good team. I mean, they just are. They're solid, and they hung in there with them in the first two games. The last game, I don't recall it ever really being close. But when you just look at them and you watch them play, they're a good baseball team.
Yeah,
and they played a hard schedule. There's a lot of teams in the Sun Belt that could be 4-7 if they played the first 11 games that Georgia Southern did.
Yeah, exactly. And Artie Katz chiming in, our resident Texas State fan, saying, hi, y'all. So what's going on, Artie? Thanks for jumping in the show again tonight. And we'll jump over to Georgia State next. They take down old App State rival, and I use those words in quotation very, very strongly, Western Carolina. And they did this one up in Cullowhee, which for those of you who don't know is, I guess it's kind of not too far from Asheville, right, guys? I mean,
Cullowhee's Cullowhee.
No.
Oh, it's not close at all?
It's probably an hour.
Oh, okay.
Probably an hour.
I was trying to give the people that aren't from North Carolina some kind of relative idea, so. Yeah.
Southeast corner of North Carolina.
There you go.
Or excuse me, southwest corner. Geography might not be my thing. So I actually got to watch a little bit of this because the Catamounts actually have ESPN Plus up at their stadium, which is nice.
In Cullowhee?
Yeah, in Cullowhee. In Cullowhee, yeah, they have internet there. They're really happy.
Marshall just got it too.
Hey, listen, First game was a pitcher's duel. It really was. It was a good baseball game. The second game, Georgia State scores 10 runs in the first 3 innings and just kind of coasted after that. Will Mize hit 2 home runs in the game for Georgia State. And then in the second game, their pitching was fantastic, and they scored 10 runs between innings 2 and 5. So they kind of controlled the early portion of that game. So they kind of, from what I saw, when the bats get hot, they can put runs on the board really quickly. And against Western Carolina, their pitching was just good enough. The 5-6 on the year, obviously 3 games coming here. I'm not sold on how good they are, but hey, get a sweep on the road. You'll take that all the time. So they have Mercer midweek at home, and then they're doing a 4-game series with Army. So a game Friday, doubleheader Saturday, and a game on Sunday, which is interesting concept. But they're going to play 5 games this week.
Nice. Is Army? You know anything about Army? I know nothing about Army baseball.
Army's website was not working well today when I went to go check on their score and see or their record and see anything about them. So no clue.
Sounds about right. Well, just the American defense team's website just doesn't work very well. That's good. Neil is a big fan from basketball and football this year, saying, agreeing with you guys who know better than I do exactly where Cullowhee is, being an hour from Asheville. And we got our Cajun fan, Yo Boy Cars. What's up, guys? I had to give a little jab at the Cajuns when the show started up, but as Seth and Marv both know, I tried my damnedest to stay up for that thriller last night down in Houston. But once it hit to 1:30 East Coast time, I couldn't make it any longer. I was toasted. And I said this in the chat because that game was, again, not on ESPN Plus, but it was live streamed through the Houston Astros Foundation YouTube page, which is pretty cool because you got a bunch of fans commenting. So it's kind of like a different aspect of watching TV than you're used to. So I was kind of participating in there throughout the night. And I at one point I did say, no matter what happens at the end of this game, like it's been a great game. Like it's been back and forth. There wasn't that many people in the stands, right? It's a late night Sunday game. Most of the other teams had gone already. So, unfortunately for these kids, not as many as they had earlier in the weekend, but that was a heck of a game. And unfortunately, they just come out not on the right side of the weekend stuff. And we'll get to them here shortly. But
somebody had a big win on Friday, did they not?
Oh, 0-3 on the
Sunbelt team had a big win. Oh, Texas State.
Texas State.
Okay.
That's Artie's team. He's saying Army is also 5-5 so far this season. So not a big test for Georgia State. Hopefully they can continue.
Actually, I think that's going to be a good matchup because their records are about even. Obviously, don't know what the level of competition Army's face, but 4 games against them, be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's true. I guess, and I would assume Army is moving into the American for football next year. I would assume they haven't moved in for baseball yet this year, so they're probably going to be in next season. So I don't know what conference Army is in, or if they're in one, because they're independent in football. I would assume they're in a conference for baseball, though, right? Like,
is it Conference USA?
No, well, I guess it could be. I'm not familiar enough with kind of the outlier teams like that, but I guess it's not impossible. But they'll be an American next year, that's for sure. So AAC team. Speaking of a team with a C in their name, look at that segue, fellas. We got James Madison up against Cornell. And just like Georgia State, they get the sweep here, 5-1, 8-5, 7-5. Is this this is a Seth team here?
That's 7 in a row for the Dukes. 8-3. I did read on this is Marv probably has more sources than I do. I was reading on Twitter. JMU's receiving votes for the top 25.
Really?
Baseball?
And I'm not real sure. That's what I read. Not 100% sure why. They do have that big win against Arkansas, correct?
Yeah. Big win, but they lost 3 of 4, though, right? Because didn't they play 4 games? Or did they split? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No. They won 1 of 4.
They won 1 of 4. Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't find much about them, to be honest with you, over the weekend. Just three in a row.
Competitive, it looks like.
Big Red. Not sure. I don't know a lot about Cornell.
They're smart.
Yeah.
They're smart.
Smarter than us. But
Army's in the Patriot League, just so we don't forget that. Army's currently in the Patriot. That makes sense. I mean, just by name alone, makes sense.
I don't have much to say about JMU anymore after our idea got shot down last week. So,
yeah, we're
no comment there anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we'll move on to the Cajuns. And to start this one off, Yo Boy Carr says the whole state of Louisiana won when LSU and Louisiana played. It felt like a big league atmosphere. Yeah. I mean, also, you also have to remember from last season that the Cajuns went into the box, which is LSU Stadium, and beat then number 1 and eventual national champion LSU. So, man, this is one they wanted bad, and a rematch that a lot of people wanted to see. For those that don't know, too, again, we just talked about geography in the state of North Carolina. This one I know because I've been down there a few times. Baton Rouge and Lafayette are only like an hour and a half apart at the most. So this is very regional. You've got a lot of fans that probably straddled the fence as far as like LSU's my team, but I like the Cajuns sometimes if they're good. So similar to what we used to see. Hopefully this year start to change this, but with App State basketball and UNC fans, right? UNC is my team. App State, when they're good, I like them, right? So,
well, very similar to App State football. In the mid 2000s. Very very annoying football fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Cajuns were one of my teams, so I obviously checked in to the Houston game last night, as I already mentioned, staying up till 1:30. Thanks, Cajuns, and Cougars for that. A lack of sleep. I was sitting there trying to complete our scores graphics as we've been releasing every day after the results go final, and I couldn't make it. It probably ended like 2 minutes after I turned it off too, which is the downside of all that. But Kyle DeBarge, man, just a freaking monster player. Also got Brian Broussard Jr., but I'm going to focus on DeBarge a little bit. 3 for 3, 2 home runs last night versus Houston. It's obviously, look, they're 0-3 on the weekend, but this is kind of what we just talked about a little bit with Georgia Southern and a few other teams, because Coastal's kind of got a very difficult schedule to start the year out. You're playing Vanderbilt, LSU, and Houston in Houston, whether it's at their place or just in Houston in general, which is obviously at the Astros field. That's not going to be easy. So, I mean, they're right there in all 3 of these games. Obviously the score is the furthest away in Vanderbilt, but they really easily could have won the Houston game for sure last night. Just a play or two different. The LSU game is, I mean, you're in a 1-run game with a national champion favorite. So I think this Cajun team is just like, I mean, better probably, but just along the lines of Georgia Southern, where like their record right now is not indicative of how good this team may end up being in the end. We kind of saw that last year.
They played 2 top 10 teams and played them tight. LSU's the real deal. Vandy's always good. I don't know if Houston's ranked or not, but LSU's number 2 right now.
Vandy's always good.
Vandy's
very good. Listen, LSU.
Super impressed. I mean, once again, like you said, record is probably not indicative of how good of a baseball team they are. They're going to be hell in conference, and yeah.
Are we in agreement? Coastal's our top. Is that what we all agree with?
Yeah.
And then right here,
but I have a team that's right below them.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. I think you got your Coastal.
Yep.
And then you have right below it, you have your South Alabama. You have your Troy. You have your Georgia Southern. You have your App State. And even James Madison.
You missed a very important team that I think is super good this year.
Southern Miss?
Texas State.
Texas State.
I think Texas State's good, and Southern Miss is good too.
And do we have our bottom?
Texas State.
Are we still thinking
Texas
Arkansas
State was my number
Marshall?
2.
I think Marshall right now, in my opinion, is the worst team in the conference.
Okay.
I do. Then probably like Georgia State, ULM.
Yeah, I agree with that. So are we thinking one top tier team and maybe 2 top tier teams and maybe 5 or 6?
I think you got like Coastal. Then there's probably like 1A, which has 2 to 3 teams. Then you've got the second tier, and then the bottom dwellers.
Gotcha.
But anything, in my opinion, like A1 and any one of the second tier teams can get pretty interchanged at any moment.
I think 16-ounce lounge is probably laughing because did we mention the name Southern Miss in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought we did. But he might think that they're a little low, and they might be. They might be.
They're in my 1A category. I've got them. Yeah. Dude, they got some – they can pitch the baseball. Yeah,
I think the thing that we're going to see with a lot of the top upper echelon teams that we just mentioned here is once they start playing 3-game sets at home in conference, that's going to change things.
Yeah. What do we have? 2 more shows before that? 1 more?
I think it's
not this upcoming weekend, but the following weekend, I believe, is when. Yeah, the following weekend is when the conference opens.
Okay, so yeah, show wise, we might have 1. Either way, it's pretty close. It's getting closer. We'll be able to use it more soon. Jumping back into this, I like that. I like that segment we just did. We need to do a little bit of a rankings within this show too. I think people want to see that. 16-ounce lounge saying I can't be positive. It doesn't work. Don't say we are good. It says don't say we are food, but I'm assuming that means good. We got a Facebook comment, too, from Chuck. Southern Miss has a young team in the field. If pitching can hold, then Southern Miss will be a force. Yeah, I think we just – right after he commented that, we pretty much touched on that as well.
Yeah, pitching's good.
Yeah. From Everyday Eagles podcast, I think, is where Chuck's from. So we got to do something with those guys soon. And Yo boy Carr's hot take. Georgia Southern will win the Sun Belt. What? In football? What are you talking about? He's got to clarify that because there's no East and West in baseball. But I don't think Georgia Southern's winning the conference in baseball. I'll say that.
I don't think they do an East and a West in baseball.
No, it's
all together.
Straight through.
No. But if he's talking football just randomly, I still
He's
think
drinking something tonight.
Yeah, I need something.
We want what he's having.
Yeah.
He's enjoying the 16-ounce lounge beers over there. That's what he's doing.
I'll take 2, sir.
He's saying the Cajuns are the best defensive team. Well, that could be true, maybe. I mean, I haven't watched enough of everybody to know that answer. I'm not going to say no to that because I don't know yet, but got to have the bats, right? I mean,
and agree or disagree with that comment.
Yeah. It's a statement. That's what it's a statement. I'm not sure if it's the right or wrong statement. Yep. All right. Well, ULM, right? We touched on them being towards the bottom, but they did get a 2-1 series victory over Incarnate Word. For those that are looking at the screen and saying, what the hell is that logo? That is the Incarnate Word, which the famous G.J. Kenny of Texas State fame now.
Who did they just pick up as a quarterback?
McLeod from James Madison.
Yeah, they did.
They are going to be a force yet again. They just need, speaking of defense over there for Georgia Southern, Texas State needs a defense if they want to compete at the upper echelon next season. So we'll see if they can round.
Speaking of defense, I was just looking this up on the Sunbelt website. They've got all the stats for the year. Best fielding percentage in the Sunbelt, ULM.
Really?
Best fielding percentage, yeah.
Interesting.
A little bit of a surprise in about 5 minutes, fellas.
Louisiana is actually 13th on that list.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
956 where ULM's at 981.
We may have a sleeper team here, huh?
No.
It's part of the product of the opponents, though, right? I mean, right. ULM has not had a strong schedule as of yet.
It could be. Man, just looking at they're as a team, ULM's batting .301. They're 5th in the conference batting average. Now they might not have faced the best arms, but just early stats.
Yeah, very true. Incarnate Word is from San Antonio. I didn't actually know where they were at. I just knew I knew their logo, and I knew Texas State's head coach now came from, and a couple players. He brought a couple players up with him as well. Here's our resident Georgia Southern expert, Tim Platt. If the Georgia Southern Eagles can somehow get their bullpen to carry some of the late innings, the Eagles could be a team to contend with. We keep dropping games late. Yeah, it sounds like that was what happened this weekend for sure. So, yeah, if they can round into form here.
Pretty sure in that second game against Campbell, they had a pretty good lead and brought a guy in, and he gave up 3 or 4 runs in the 7th or 8th and cost them that game. But once again, I'll stick to my words. Much as it pains me to say it, I think they're a good baseball team.
Yeah. Speaking of good baseball teams,
about Georgia Southern on this podcast, fellas.
Yeah, they got it. They got a fan base that's hungry for something after that football season they had, right? I mean, it was pretty terrible. So ULM goes 4-1 on the week, right? They had the 2 midweek game victories. They get 2 of 3 here. Hassani Johnson had a great week. I mean, this is going to sound amazing, but he did go 8 for 18, helping account for 10 total runs on the weekend.
Nice.
So
it's in the Johnson blood, but baby.
There you go, man. He had some big games, so I wanted to give a shout out to that Warhawks specifically before we move on here to the Marshall Thundering Herd, taking 2 of 3 from the Manhattan Jaspers. I'm glad they had the name on their logo because I would have never remembered that was their name.
I watched a couple of those games. There was a lot of M's and a lot of green on that field.
Yeah.
Hey, the new stadium, super nice, though. Really happy they got that stadium. It's a really nice-looking stadium.
So, yeah, we'll talk about that to start off with, right? They go 2-1 here. Brand new stadium. Trey Hondras goes yard on the very first pitch at all, time. So that otherwise, I honestly just assumed that these two teams were just very evenly matched from the scores from what we saw. 3-0, 5-4 loss, and then another 3-2 win. So they end capped the series victory, but nothing came easy in this one. I think these two teams are evenly matched, and I don't know if I've ever heard of Manhattan baseball before this weekend. So I'm going to assume that, yeah, Marshall's got the victory, but again, as we said, Marshall's still not climbing out of the basement of the Sun Belt anytime soon in all likelihood, but I don't know. We'll see.
They took 2 of 3, opened a new ballpark.
Yeah.
It's something.
Who do they have this midweek and weekend? I watched a little bit of those games. One of the games, the weather looked terrible. I think the wind was whipping, the camera kept moving, but wasn't the highest quality baseball I saw.
Yeah. They got Bellarmine on Tuesday and Southeast Missouri State again at home for a 3-game. I think it's a 3-game. It might be 4. Nope, it looks like a 3-game.
Okay.
3-game series there. So I don't know about anything about Bellarmine. I know that their basketball team just kind of recently moved up because they were in that NCAA mandatory wait period or whatever because they exceeded expectations and they weren't allowed to participate. Sound familiar, James Madison fans? But yeah. So we'll see. Yo Boy Carr says, can you all agree that the Cajuns have the best diamond sports duo in the Sun Belt with softball and baseball?
Listen, a big softball victory over.
We can talk about it for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with it.
Yeah,
right, they're not necessarily the top for baseball. They're near the top.
Yes.
But for softball right now, I'd say that they're at the top. I'm not sure I know anybody else that I would put above them, especially after this past week's result. So I'm not putting anybody above them as a tandem, I guess. So that makes
Here's
sense.
What I tell you is they are the Sun Belt baseball team that I most want to go watch a game at their home stadium. I'll give them that.
We should make a road trip, fellas.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do a softball, baseball doubleheader.
I agree with that. That is the one place that I want to go down there and see a game. And
Maybe
speaking of
catch an
seeing a
LSU game
game
while we're there.
That wouldn't suck.
No.
Speaking of a game while we're there, a man who had some experience down there at Cajun Field, Austin St. Laurent, is joining the show once again. Man, I like that. I like the fit, man. What hat is that one?
Oh, I got this from one of the bookstores.
Nice.
That's nice.
You got any merch yet?
I do, I think.
Your boy Banks got it. I hadn't seen it in years yet.
Somebody sent me something. It was new to me.
Gotta have to get that Duncan sponsorship, and then you can put Duncan on a shirt.
That NIL money.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
Hey, Austin, how does it feel to be the first repeat guest on America's #1 downloaded Sunbelt baseball podcast?
absolutely an honor.
You're the ambassador, my man.
Glad to be here.
Dom and I will see you tomorrow. We're heading to Durham to watch you guys take down Duke.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to ask you this because you were there last year when they played at Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Had you been in that stadium before that game?
In Durham?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go there a lot as a kid.
Gotcha. I figured you had, but just didn't know for sure. But so what do you feel like? You disappointed a little bit? You don't get to return there? You're playing at Duke's actual home stadium now, or does it not really matter?
No, I'm going to be real. I don't like that place at all.
The Durham Bulls?
You're a big fan of the Crawdad Stadium, right?
Yeah, huge.
You killed the ball, dude. Killed
Yeah,
it.
it was I don't know what happened, but that was cool.
What happened was you were on this show a few days before, and then
Real.
you got the Syndicate Bump there. So we're happy to help you out in that regard.
But yeah, I'm excited to see their field because it just got renovated, I guess. And I played at Duke's field. I was like 12, so I seen it when it was not what it is now.
Is that why they played at the Bulls Stadium last year? Because it was getting renovated, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they used their field as like a practice field, and then that was their home field.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they also host the ACC tournament there, which is pretty cool. I've never been. I should go to that just because it's right around the corner. But
What kind of weekend you have, boy?
Not bad. Honestly, never want to go back to Southern Illinois. But yeah, no, pretty good weekend. We actually we seen some good arms, and yeah, we executed what we were supposed to do.
You were up Friday, right?
Yeah, we let that one slip, and then we kind of ran away with it Saturday, Sunday. So
I'd say 9-1, 8-1. Fantastic score lines there.
What was the they have any atmosphere up there in Southern Illinois? I looked at the box score. It looked like they were having 300-400 people at the game max.
Yeah, and they were all on the first baseline. Absolutely letting us have it. Yeah, our head coach, he was getting some heckling, and we had to step in there for a little while. So, yeah, they say some very derogatory things in Southern Illinois.
It was interesting. We were talking last week. So, they were supposed to have all these big bats. They were leading or like top 10 in the country in runs scored per game. And looks like our arms kind of quieted that down a little bit.
Yeah, you got to play somebody real to have all that. So,
what did the rotation do this weekend, Austin?
They threw really well.
7 hits all weekend?
Yeah, I mean, just to see all three dudes work in unison is kind of crazy to think about. You got three dudes that go up there and do their job. So it was special.
We got Artie Cat is our resident Texas State guy. He's here through football, and now he's jumping over here to the baseball stuff, saying he's going to be at the conference opener between Texas State and App State next week in San Marcos. All right, Austin, I know, you guys as a team and as a sport and everybody in athletics in general says they never look ahead. But, have you thought about going down there? Have you been there specifically?
I haven't been to Texas State, but we did go down to Texas my first year here.
Gotcha.
So we played in Arlington.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So are you looking forward to returning to the state of Texas where baseball's kind of king down there?
Yeah, absolutely. The last time we were there, we won. So
can't hate that.
Nope.
Well, listen, we're all excited because obviously Dom and I will be at the game tomorrow, but holy crap, you guys actually have some games on TV coming up. Winthrop's got ESPN Plus. We'll actually be able to watch you guys play.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo boy Cars is saying when the Mountaineers came to Cajun Country, I don't remember the pitcher's name, but he was legit. I bet Austin can tell us his name really well.
Yeah, Xander Hamilton. He was our.
Is he with the Twins?
Yeah, he's with the Twins now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, we got people commenting now. Like this is taking off, my man.
Hey, a good one.
America's #1 Sunbelt podcast. Come on, man.
That's real. That's real.
We got to add that to the show title or something up here in the header or something. I don't know.
Make it happen.
We should just rebrand it the Austin St. Laurent Show, and then we just show up.
Do that.
Austin, what can you tell us about Duke? I mean, obviously they pretty good rank. Looks like they got a bunch of arms. What y'all going up against tomorrow?
Yeah, we apparently first out we'll see a lefty heavy mix. So we kind of prepped for that today. But after that, I mean, just selling out to the report they have. But apparently they're ranked. So that's a big header for them, I guess. I don't keep up with it. But, yeah, apparently they've got some good sticks and some good arms to back it. So I'm excited to go down there. Anytime we can be the underdog, I'm there for it. So.
But what's a day trip, bus trip look like for you guys? What's kind of the schedule?
So we'll depart at, I think, 10:45 is for tomorrow. So most of us get there about 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish. And then we just we all have our own, travel duty. So, I carry buckets. And, some guys will have machines or whatever. Load that up, hop on the bus, and get going. So, some of us wear shorts, but a lot of us get in there in our pregame uniforms. So.
Do we all stop for lunch on the way down?
It gets catered to the field, so we'll grab a Zach before we get on the bus. And then I think we get fed again right after the game.
Cool.
or right before, one of the two.
How does that work with all obviously you're playing Duke, so you'll come back tomorrow night, but I know with like basketball, I've always heard that if you travel like midweek, no matter where it's at, you have to return that same night. Is that true for baseball?
I think so, because I think most of the time when you're traveling for a midweek, it's fairly close.
Okay.
But, I mean, I've never been a part of a travel day in a midweek where we didn't come back.
Right.
But, I mean, there has been times where we got back pretty late, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I think that had more to do with extra innings than distance.
Oh. What? So you got family and probably friends that are probably going to come to this one. Do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was figuring with how close it is for where you're from that you're going to have a pretty good contingent at this one.
It'll be a small commute for the boys back home, so should be getting pretty rowdy out there.
Nice. Is there anybody else on the team that's from this area? I can't remember off the top of my head if I remember.
Tyler's from Clayton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's from Clayton. Trying to think. Nobody's in Greensboro. I guess CJ, the Boyds would be the closest one.
Okay.
And maybe Zach Lewis, closer to the Winston area.
Nice.
But, yeah, I don't.
Makes sense.
Austin, obviously you're killing it. Who else on the team? Who else is raking right now?
Banks Tolley.
Yeah.
That dude's the real deal. Him and I kind of sat down and just talked about it.
Did he? What's his? Was he not getting any playing time at Ole Miss? How did he end up here?
Yeah, I don't know. I never really asked him the story. I didn't really feel like it was important because he's here now.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah. And,
how did Braxton do this weekend?
He's been out with a hamstring thing, but I think he'll be back tomorrow and this weekend. But he played Friday, was trying to get through it, and I think just for the longevity of the season, they kind of held him out for the last two. But yeah,
Boyd's killing it too, isn't he?
What happened?
CJ's killing it too, isn't he?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to really say that he's killing it because that's just what he does.
Right.
He hit like 500 last year, so whatever. He just shows up, and you're like, oh, he's on base again. Cool.
And you're right behind him, so you get to bring him home.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
especially when you like have a swinging bunt and he's fast, so he just makes it home.
Yeah, we got a question from Yo Boy Cars, our resident Cajun fan. For Austin, in every city you visited in your college career, what city had the best food? I'm guessing he's asking this for a specific reason, but I'll go ahead and let you answer anyway.
He already knows the answer to that question. That's real. Yeah, the Cajun Cooking Club. That is by far the best food that I've ever had on the road, hands down.
Nice. We got another fan submission. Artie Cat wants to know what's your opinion on bats. Should college players be using wood only? Just curious.
I think the use of metal bats keeps it super competitive still. I mean, considering we had one of our guys break one of our bats, it's yeah, I mean, between summer ball and everything else, swinging wood, it's a little different, but not anything super substantial. You do get a little more jump off the metal bat, but I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it other than probably budgeting. It probably costs a lot more to swing wood in college than metal.
Makes sense.
What's your choice? What do you swing?
I swing the goods made by DeMarini.
DeMarini, yeah. That hurt my son's feelings. I'm sitting here staring at like 11 Marucci bats sitting on our back rack here in the corner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Marucci's good too, though.
My oldest son plays travel, so only use Marucci for travel, but it's DeMarini for Little League for USA bats. He's super weird like that.
Yeah, that's how all growing up. That's the only thing I swung was DeMarini.
Nice.
So I'm glad we got
wings tonight.
I got 12 smoked honey mustard and 12 mild.
Sweet jalapeno, my man.
that real?
Yeah, come on now.
I have to
Nice.
get those a try the next time I'm there.
Yeah.
Monday.
For the fans, I'll have to say I like the metal because I like the sound it makes. I'm a simple person. Like I love hockey when you hit the crossbar and down bar, posting in, so like the metal bat tinging when you hit I like the sound of it. I think it's cooler sounding than the pros with the wood bats, but that's just me.
That might be a hot take.
Yeah,
Might be.
there's nothing better, in my opinion, than when you flush barrel a wood bat and you just hear that crack. It's, it right off the bat. Metal bats can be a little deceiving sometimes with a wood bat. You know it.
Yeah. We if you watch our pregame BP, that's how we swing his wood for our first round or first 2 rounds. So
Why is that? Just the feel?
yeah, just a barrel feel. And some of us swing, like I swing a full-sized woody, and a lot of the other guys swing a knobless wood bat for staying inside the bowl.
Huh.
So,
Have you heard about this travesty of charging $5 to part this year?
really,
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about that.
I'd be upset about it too.
Yeah.
That goes
that's
straight
wild.
to Austin's NIL fund, though. I don't know if he told you that.
Oh, if that's the case, then not about it anymore.
If that's the
Have you
case,
followed
then
any other teams in the
next week.
conference?
I keep up a little bit, yeah. I got a couple buddies that play for Troy, which I probably shouldn't say, but yeah, I keep up with them, keep up with what they're doing, and then obviously Coastal pops up on my feed every day. So
Pretty annoying.
super annoying.
We got the editor of College Football Dogs, Troy's saying, "Have we discussed Wazoo yet?" Well, we have not, and we won't be. But I got one more question, at least here. I don't know if the other guys do too. But you got to tell us a little bit about this celebration with the football helmet. We've got to know some kind of detail, where it came from, what it means to you guys. Is it a football? Like, you got close friendships with the football guys, or how'd that come about?
No, I don't think any of us are friends with any of the football players, which is crazy because apparently all the football guys hate the baseball players.
Oh,
And
I can see why.
I mean, yeah, but we were sitting around one day and we were wondering because everybody does like the jump up and the elbow thing for home runs. And we were like, how do we change this up? And I was like, why don't we just take a handoff in the dugout? And then everybody was on board with that. And I was like, wait a second. Our equipment guy helps with football. I was like, Joe, can you get us a football helmet? He goes, I have one in my office. And then you come in the dugout, take your helmet off. He puts a football helmet on you, and then somebody takes a snap and gives you the handoff.
That's
High and tight, my man.
so we asked the right guy because you are the literal creator of this celebration. Then
Yeah, part 1 of 3. So
there you go.
it was
Boys, we've hit the jackpot with this guy.
Nah, you can get some other guys on here that'll give you some
No, you're the
Probably
ambassador, brother.
interesting
You're
takes.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this on there. I don't know if you guys are aware. I've been following this pretty closely. If you've heard of Rage and Review, the podcast, these guys had an interview all lined up with a coach. I believe it was a baseball coach, maybe the head baseball coach. And then I guess the administration kind of went back on it last second. So he's just making comment that he thinks it's really cool that the administration lets us interview players and coaches, unlike Louisiana.
Tell the administration thank you for that, Austin.
I don't think they know. So that's fine.
Don't say the quiet part, man. You're not supposed to say the quiet part.
Oh,
Hey,
Fine
we've
print.
tripled our viewers since the first time you came on, buddy.
good.
I think we've got 6 now.
We're killing
Do you frequent the Levi's barbershop? Are you aware of this place? It was the Seth giving free promotion away while we're on the show here.
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
You go to
that's,
Levi's?
yeah, that's so. I cut my own hair, but
Oh.
all of our guys they go down there. So
it.
He's a legend, dude.
Miller was
Legend.
he Drum got us started on it. So he went one day down there and got his hair cut, and since then, I mean that was a thing before I got here. So, but very high expectations when going to leave us, and he never misses.
So you've at least been there.
Oh, I've been there, yeah, but I didn't get my haircut.
I don't even know where this place is at. Seth told me all about it. I'm like, yeah, someday when I need a cut and I'm in Boone, I'll get one there.
It's like a club, dude. You got to be invited.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Just tell them you know Seth, and you're right in.
That's it.
Or you're kicked out. One of the two. It's either way. It depends on the week.
Last question, Austin. So after Duke, Winthrop, what can you tell us about them?
I'm going to absolutely bash Winthrop because their head coach coached here my first year.
Okay.
And it's his birthday when we play him. So, Ryan Smoot, he's their head coach now. And, I can't wait to go down there. The only thing that I really know about Winthrop is they had one dude that threw really well. I think he had like 20 strikeouts against Maine.
He was the player of the week, I believe.
Yeah, I think he had 20 punch outs against Maine. And then other than that, I think they have a pretty steady stock lineup as you would see at most colleges. A couple lefties, a couple righties, and a couple dudes who can mash. So, play them just like we play Duke, and I think we'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Well, good luck, man. Look forward to watching you guys play tomorrow.
Absolutely. It'll be fun.
Yeah. We'll yell to you from the stands.
Do it.
With Marv's kids. Your kids are coming, right, Marv?
Dude, I'm bringing the whole family. I got the wife and the kids coming. We're making
nice.
Take them out of school early because baseball's more important than school. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
What time is first pitch?
4.
4? Yeah.
So.
Hey, Austin, another quick question. You're in the lineup every day. Does midweek, does that differ at all? Are you in the lineup midweek as well?
Yeah. So I'll try to play every single game during the season. Yeah. Most of the time, like if we play somebody and we get up big or something where we can like kind of like throw guys around, sometimes I'll get pulled out in like the 8th inning.
Yeah.
But with our infield depth right now, I'll probably end up playing every game. So, we're down a shortstop, and we don't really know when he's going to be back. So, so our infield's probably going to look like that the whole year.
Have you thrown pitches too? I saw a stat where it said you had a strikeout in a game, and I was like, either that's just an error or maybe you got on the mound and threw something.
Not this year, but in my previous years.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to pitch a little bit, and then I got shelled, and they.
Did you get on the field at ECU at all?
I didn't. I redshirted after the year was over, so which I'm glad I did. So gave me an extra year.
How many more years do you have, assuming you don't go to the league?
This year, and I have next year too.
Gotcha.
So,
are you draft eligible this year?
I am. Yeah.
Gotcha.
How early does that process start? Like, are you able to be in contact with any kind of like agent at this point and at least get some kind of background information? Or, is that just kind of, during the season, you don't mess with that kind of stuff too much? Yeah,
it was a lot more in the fall. A couple of us went down to a couple of different places and did some workouts and just some other stuff for some teams. And, but during the season, it's not a whole lot. I haven't got anything this season. I don't know if there's rules and regulations behind it, but a lot more of it in the fall. I think that's when like the hot period is, and this might be a dead period. But
did the round shrink over the last few years?
Yeah. So when COVID hit, it went from 40 rounds to 5 rounds, and then after that, it went. I think it's 20 rounds now.
If you're if you have another year, I wonder what round you would say if you're thinking about yourself, like what round I need to be drafted by, or I'm going back next year.
Yeah,
like, where's the big money at?
There's a little bit of leverage there too, because I do have another year and I'm young for my class. So, yeah, like
sorry, go ahead.
I'll be 21 when this draft starts. So,
are you just 20?
No, I'm 21 right now.
I got you.
But by the time the draft starts, I'll still be 21.
Gotcha.
My birthday will be like a couple weeks after. So,
and you could still get, or anybody, not just you specifically, but you can get drafted and also still choose to return to school as well, right? Isn't that another option?
Yeah. So nothing's set in stone until you sign the contract, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can either you can pull out of the draft or you can get drafted, and if it's not what you're looking for, take another year.
And then the next year you can get drafted by a complete different organization too, right? You're not tied up. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. How does that work? Like Kyler Murray went, first round?
Yeah.
Could he so now he couldn't go back to the A's and play, could he?
Technically, I think he could.
So he's technically still –
I don't know if he's like – I don't know how that works. I think he'd have to like do a new contract or something.
Yeah, got to be a time limitation.
Yeah. I don't know.
Baseball might work out better for him at this point.
The A's are going to Vegas, man. You might want to go get some of that Vegas money.
That's real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, baseball still has the largest guaranteed contracts of all major sports. So it
also,
it ain't a bad thing to be.
Is college like the portal? Does it work similar to football? Like, are you like, let's say you explode this year, you hit like 500. Like, are you looking to go to like an ACC team, or are you like content like where you're at?
No, this is home for me.
I mean, in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you looking to go somewhere big?
There's a lot of guys that like say they go to a smaller school.
Yeah.
And like before the portal, you would like go to JUCO and then get drafted from that junior college. But now with the portal, you can go and you have a first year transfer like certificate where you don't have to sit out.
Right.
So you can go and hit 500 at this random school and then go play ACC, SEC ball in the next year. So that's where a lot of teams are picking up some older guys that are kind of on that. So
I know Banks came from Ole Miss. Who else on the team's a portal dude?
We have one guy from Iowa. We have another dude from Mizzou. Drew Holderback. He's from Rice.
Rice is a solid baseball team.
Yeah, and then Adam Quintero's from Gaston College. Zamora's from Miami-Dade. And CJ came from ECU last year. So, and then Bradley is from ECU. Steensmo was a freshman last year here. And then Dante's a JUCO guy too.
Dang.
So pretty much, pretty much our whole entire lineup and rotation are transfer guys.
How did you end up at App without having any film from ECU? Is it all based on your high school film, or?
I think it had to do with summer ball.
Gotcha.
Like,
yeah, so playing up here.
Yeah, I think, and I think they do kind of base it off of what you did in high school a little bit. But yeah, I think because I played up here a lot during the summer, so I talked to them, let them know when I was coming up here, and then they'd come and hang out and watch for a little while.
You want to hop on the Bigfoots this summer?
Absolutely not. No hate to them. I just
Will you play somewhere this summer?
Hopefully, yeah, I hope so.
Is the Cape still the big thing to do?
Yeah. So if we can go there, yeah. If not, then probably just hang out and work out all summer.
You're not gonna try and get on the Savannah Bananas and become a superstar across social media?
I could see myself doing that, honestly. That looks like that's something right up my alley.
I think you can immediately go there and be like, look, I have one thing that I'm going to bring to this immediately, and it's a football celebration with a helmet, because I haven't seen them do that yet. So there you go. Have you seen those guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, one of our former teammates, he played for the Savannah Bananas.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we have a little connection there.
So he's got good stories, I'm sure, from when they're on the road. I'm sure the party continues after the game's well over too. So
judging from that guy, probably.
Austin, how does NIL work? Do you have any type of deals going on?
Yeah, I have a few. None of them are like, I don't get like money from them, but I do get like merchandise here and there. Like I just got on a NIL deal with Sasquatch Bat Company, and they send me wood bats. So they just sent me 2 of them, and they'll send me more this summer. And then, other ones are just kind of like ones that the school provides you. So,
do you have that check ready for him yet, Don?
Yeah. It's in red ink.
Perfect.
We are now officially losing money by doing this.
Hey man,
how does
make it?
How does Banks like have his shirts like that? Like when I text you the other day, I was trying to see if you had one of those. Like, does somebody else do that through him, or how does that work?
No, I honestly think that they sent me a DM on Instagram.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure I have to like go through something and like clarify that it's me or something. I don't know.
I could guarantee you'd have at least $60 if you got some shirts. I know 3 people at least get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look and I'll send you guys a link for it.
Awesome. We appreciate you, man. Seriously.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, I love being on here.
And we will certainly see you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So
hey, why don't y'all get a picture together so we can put it on the pod?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll try to make it happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we finish up, have our little talk, and then I go right up into the stands. So
cool.
Nice. You'll come to us before your family, right? Because
yeah, they can wait.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, hey man, be safe in the travel. We hope you have another hell of a game because we'd love to be there and see it in person. So we'll see you tomorrow afternoon, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Austin. That's it. What
He's
a dude.
The man.
The ambassador.
He's the dude.
I like that. I like the fact he just wants to come on here and have a good time. Artie Cat, I missed this one. He said, I like to rock the Captain Picard look, which with his laughing at that, I'm assuming that's bald. I'm not sure.
I'm not
sure the reference. I got to be honest with you. I'm going to look it up. Go ahead, Seth.
When we found Austin, we just found our first guest. We didn't know he was actually going to be good at baseball.
Yeah.
Hey, we struck gold, boys.
Then you find out he's the 2022 freshman All-American. You're like, maybe he is good at this baseball thing.
Then I figured out we probably didn't go through the correct hoops, but we got him on.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens when you try to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Artie, I did see it. I know exactly who it is now. I just didn't recognize the name. I guess I just wasn't thinking Star Trek at that point. But you guys know who he's talking about now too, right?
I've never watched Star Trek or Star Wars ever.
Yeah, but you've seen like the memes where the guy's got the bald head doing something. There's like GIFs and memes of them. Anyway, Troy's asking if he missed the Wazoo segment. Yeah, we did it while you were taking a water break or something.
Just wrap that up.
Yeah, we'll go back to this. So jumping back into the action, we'll talk a little bit more about everything else here in a minute. But Old Dominion takes out Charlotte 2-1. They lost the first game 4-2, win the second one 4-1, 3-0 in the finale there. Luke Waters and Stephen Meyer had good weeks, even with just a little run support. Obviously, no big bats, no big outputs against Charlotte, who has been a formidable team over the last few years, really. So they had Charlotte strand a total of 22 runners on base. Ooh. So a little bend but don't break defensively, and the pitchers helped get them out of some of those jams. So I'd say a solid.
You have the overall record in front of you?
Yeah, I got it right.
ODU?
A second. Yeah, ODU is 7-4.
Wow.
They had the bats last year. I think we talked about this. I think they were like in the top 15 or 20 for sure. Maybe higher than that in total home runs hit. So they've got a guy named Jake Tyser on the team who just hammers the ball. So he actually didn't have too much of an amazing week himself. With, like I said, Luke Waters and Stephen Meyer, the guys that I picked up on the most. But yeah, I'd say a solid week there for the Monarchs to take down the 49ers of Charlotte in that one. South Alabama takes down UNCW 2-1. Again, just like ODU, they lose that first one 4-1, win 4-3 and 5-4. Is this a Seth or Marv team here, if I'm thinking about it?
This is a Seth team. Overall, 10-2. With one of the losses coming on Friday. I think, like we talked about a little earlier, I don't have any stats in front of me, but I think this is another one of those maybe 2A teams, maybe a 1B. I think this is one of the teams that's going to be standing coming into the year. Some strong bats. Like I said, they got a midweek against New Orleans, and then next weekend they got 3 games with Nebraska. So we'll find out a lot about that team next week. But off to a pretty solid start so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's Nebraska at baseball?
Do what?
Does anybody know anything about Nebraska? Are they decent?
I don't, but I'll look it up.
I'm trying to take my football goggles off where you hear Big Ten team. Oh, they better be pretty good, and then find out that
like really. Michigan you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, 4-8. I was a little surprised to find out they were 4-8.
Yeah. Oh, so you mentioned South Alabama on the upper echelon at this point. Reminder, this is a team who ended last season with 10-game losing streak. 10 games in a row they dropped at the end. So incredibly impressive to flip the switch like this. We know how that can happen with football and transfer stuff. Nebraska's 7-3 on the year in total.
Okay. Don't know who they played, but yeah.
We had a good little series.
Yeah, Southern Miss was picked to be 8th right ahead of App. So, yeah, we'll see. Once again, can't wait till conference starts.
Yeah. I feel like we're spinning our wheels just a little bit for another week, but
I don't know. Yeah,
this thing will really open up.
So, some teams are playing, I think some teams have really played good competition to set themselves up. I mean, if you look at the top, 6 or 7 teams in the Sun Belt, it's murderer's row.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to App. App starts with Texas State.
Yeah.
And San Marcos, and then Coastal comes to town. So you'll learn a lot about them the first 6 games.
Yes, you will.
Got to see if Artie will run into Austin for us down there and get us. We'll actually get to see what Artie looks like after all this time of being a comment champion.
I'm a little jealous of you boys tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited. My first game. Is that true? Yeah, it is my first game. I went to a lacrosse game. I was mixing up sports there for a minute. I thought it might be my second baseball game, but it is my first college baseball game of the year.
Are you going solo?
I am now. Yeah, the plan was to bring my son as well, but he's got an allergist appointment. In true baseball fashion, he's allergic to peanuts, so that's a downer. But so he's got to get checked out for that, and I did not check the schedule early enough to get that move so that he could go with me, unfortunately. So the wife's going to take him there. I'm going to head to the game, hopefully with a truck that I can actually take the key out of and walk away from comfortably. But
if not, we'll be there and we'll figure out a way to give you a ride somewhere.
There we go. Because I ain't running home from Duke. I'll tell you that. That's a little too far for me.
Don't do that.
Southern Miss takes down a tough, very, very tough Indiana State team, 2-1 down there in Hattiesburg, winning the first two games. They lose the last one. I mean,
Yeah.
How do you guys feel? Like when you win the first two games, you already won the series. Do you care that you lose the last one? I mean, obviously, like, you don't want to lose it, but I'm just saying.
You want to sweep. I got to watch some of these games. So first two games, Southern Miss's Friday and Saturday start are legit. They're really good. Even though in the first game it was a 1-1 game going into the seventh, they put 4 runs up in the seventh inning to kind of walk away with that. In the second game, they put 4 up in the first, and that was enough to win the game. In the last game, I guess their guy just didn't have their stuff, but gave up 5 runs in the first and 4 in the ninth. So kind of let it get away and then made it worse. But super impressed with their arms. They can really pitch. Can't say I was blown away by their hitting, just enough. But, man, they can throw the baseball.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And then they've got Mississippi State midweek. And then they go to Louisiana Tech, who was undefeated. Louisiana Tech's 11-0.
I believe they got in the rankings this week.
Yeah, so they once again, there's some teams in this league that are playing nobody. Not pointing at you, Marshall, but teams in this league that are preparing themselves for a tough conference slate. So I think Southern Miss is a good baseball team. I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's all about pitching, and outside of Coastal, they got the best arms I've seen.
Do you put them up there with Coastal?
They're in that 1B.
Coastal's by themselves?
Just the limited sample size that I've seen, yeah.
Gotcha.
It'll be interesting at play Duke tomorrow. You know, they played Duke, Coastal did, and lost 5-3. I watched a little Duke this weekend. I can't remember who they were playing, but wasn't overly impressed.
Should be fun tomorrow.
Should be a lot of fun tomorrow. It's going to be close to 70 degrees. I mean, it's going to be nice. Remember the game we went to last year? Dom? It was cold in that stadium.
It was cold, but I think we both dipped out a little early at the end of that. No, I stayed to the end because I was grabbing video footage of that stuff.
Yeah, I had both kids solo, and after the sugar buzz wore off, it was time to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. They played Akron.
Okay.
And they dropped a game. They dropped a game in that series in the middle there, 4-3. And you know, not that baseball's probably as much into this as other sports, but they do have Wake Forest coming up. So if they're looking ahead a little bit.
Who does? Southern Miss?
No, Duke.
Oh, Duke.
Yeah, I'm off tangent because we started talking about that again. So we'll get back on that.
Seems to happen a lot to us. It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll get it together next season.
That's what people pay for, right? That's why we're America's
we went from not having
#1.
anything to talk about to an hour-and-a-half show. Plus 2 hours almost.
Yeah. When you have you don't long.
That's true. All right, so we'll get back into this. This is the team that we were talking about a little bit earlier. Artie's favorite team here, Texas State. It's one of my I was fighting for a little bit more respect as far as the ranks teams go. Some of their losses aren't the greatest, and I think that's probably why. But, I mean, they've been playing everybody close, and this weekend was fantastic results. Obviously, sans the last game there. But Texas State 2-1 versus Houston in Houston. The flagship of Texas, they take them down 11-10, and then they do lose to Marv, what'd you say, that LSU's a kind of consensus number 2 right now?
Yeah, I mean, they're the defending national champions.
Tommy Tanks, baby.
Tommy Tanks.
Very, very true. Very, very true. So Artie Cat says, Slam Marcos. I do like that nickname. That's pretty cool. The preview inning got the bats hot. 23 runs and some mojo going. Yeah, that's true. It's got to bode well when you get down there, and he's obviously letting us know. Horns out. I'm down for it too. Horns down, baby. Not a Texas guy myself. We also have Tim Platt. He wrote a book for us here, but we'll read this for you. I think Smart Money picks Coastal Carolina, Southern Miss, and Louisiana. I'm hoping my Eagles can pull some upsets over the teams because we get all those teams at home this season. Ooh, I did not know that. but it won't be easy. I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm not blind to good teams in the belt. I heard South Alabama and Troy are really good this year too. Fingers crossed that my Eagles can play up to their potential. Y'all should do a ranking of the Sun Belt teams for your show. Yeah, we did mention that a little bit ago. We will start doing that going forward, so we have some movement, some stuff that
he didn't mention Texas State, and I think Texas State's legit.
Yeah, I would flip Texas State and Troy for what he said, actually. Troy can have some run support. I mean, they've got some bats that can get hot. I'm not sure about all the way around if I would take Troy over Texas State.
Troy had an ugly weekend.
Troy had a bad weekend. There could be some recency bias. Troy did have a bad weekend.
Yeah. And Artie's asking, did you see the home run versus Texas smash? Yeah, I didn't see it live. I did see it on Twitter. For those that don't have Twitter, that are watching this on Facebook or something else, get Twitter for baseball. It's phenomenal because, like we've said, not everything's been shown on ESPN Plus up to this point. But if you follow your favorite team or teams in general that you like, I follow all the Sun Belt ones. I think these guys do too. You're going to see tons of clips, and they're going to let you know score updates after just about every inning. If they're the better ones out there, you're going to be able to keep up with your team nice and easy and enjoyable to do it that way instead of having to go search everything.
And Dominic, we've mentioned this a couple of times, but we're welcome to guests. Anybody wants to join us, we'd love to have them on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hopeful that we'll pick up at least one or two from tomorrow's interaction. We'll see what me and Marv and I can pull off. But
I'm talking about anybody commenting, they're more than welcome to join too.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this and you're a fan of Georgia Southern or Texas State and you want to have a way to get one of their players on that, we don't want to be super biased. I mean, we're all App State fans, just having App State players on here. So we'll take what we can get.
I'm trying to get Artie on, man.
Just go sell it as America's #1 Sunbelt baseball podcast, and you'll be fine.
You have
tripling viewers every week.
Yeah, to qualify for the show, you have to like, subscribe, 5 friends, so we can do a pyramid scheme where we just keep getting more and more people.
Be a reference sheet. Hey, who does Texas State play this weekend?
Good question. They have Sam Houston State.
Okay.
So an in-state opponent who is now, what are they, in the Conference USA, I believe. Artie can maybe confirm that. I think that's the conference they jumped into for football, and I would assume everything else kind of jumped in there too. So
we're going to jump to the ugly part of the show here, the next page.
Troy?
Yep.
Oh.
Ugly part. So they, this is not a good result. 1-2 there. They were 3-2 on the week. Like we said, they got the best of Kent State early. Not that that's really impressive, but so I'm just going to say that because they had a good start. They had 18 runs.
Even with 2 losses this weekend, they're 10-3 overall.
Yeah.
Which is a bad weekend.
Yeah, it was.
They
had 18 runs in those two midweek games. They had just 13 in this series here. So, yeah, something happened. Whether they ate something wrong and the whole team was affected or what, I don't really know. But Ethan Cavanaugh is the guy I'm pointing out. He had a pretty good week. Nothing absolutely fantastic, right? I mean, if you look at the run support here, it wasn't very good. They 3-3, and then they did get 7 in that final one on Sunday. But again, losing those first 2 games, you knew the outcome of this one. And Northwestern State, a team that has played quite a few Sun Belt teams, but Troy, I don't know. I didn't see this one coming. I'll tell you that. I guess that's how I'll wrap that part up. I didn't see this one coming. Maybe Troy winning 2-1 is the worst I would have thought before this weekend would have been the outcome on this one.
Who's Troy going to take their hard feelings out on this weekend?
Well, they got Alabama tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah. They got –
does not look for the weekend. It
doesn't look good for the weekend if Indiana in Bloomington. So they travel up to go to –
Indiana just dropped out, but didn't they beat Coastal earlier in the year?
They did.
They did.
Yep. So ain't gonna be easy, especially if you're not hot right now. You're traveling up there for a 3-game set. That's yikes. Not the right time that you want to have that happen. Before this week, you rolled into that game after those 2 Kent State games. You're feeling different, but now Like you said, if they beat Alabama, though, maybe they get back on the horse.
Still 10-3, man. Still 10-3.
They're still 10-3.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. All right.
Yikes!
Here we go.
Look at him. Look at him.
So we're gonna change the name to One Built Baseball Beginner and Two Experts, because you guys are crushing it with these predictions, and I am struggling mightily.
Thank you to Coastal's 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth to keep that sweep alive.
Yeah. When I saw that one, I was like, I think he got all these right, and I did have to check the top one. I had forgotten that Campbell 1-2-1 on that one, but
make sure you put this out on the social medias.
Yeah, you want to celebrate? You want a victory lap? I can do that.
I just want my wife to believe me. That's all I want.
Say all the time and effort I take away from you and the kids is finally worth it. I'm winning.
We have some patient people in our household, fellas. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah. My wife's sitting in bed watching Bravo. She could care less if I'm out here.
My wife is probably doing the exact. Actually, no, it's 10 o'clock. She's asleep. She's been asleep for like an hour, but so I can start yelling now if I want to during this podcast. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But yeah, Marv, congratulations, man. You are the first perfect week we've had thus far. I think Seth was the best coming in. I think you had 2 right in a week, right, Seth?
Yeah.
No. And I if I get 1 right, I'm cloud 9, baby. 1-8 overall. You got these guys at 4-5 and 5-4. Marv takes the lead with that sweep this week. Impressive, man. Very, very impressive.
Hey, blind squirrel gets a nut every now and again.
Yeah. But I think that pretty much wraps that part up, guys. How do you want to end this thing? We went a little long, but that's because Austin decided to bless us with his presence once again, and hopefully that leads to another little syndicate bump before tomorrow's game against Duke.
That would be nice.
I like the idea of breaking it down each week, movement in the conference. I think we should start.
Do we need to put everyone put together your rankings every week, kind of put them up there on the screen?
Yeah,
I guess that's true. What do we want to do? We should decide that and see if anybody has feelings on that. We do an aggregate of the 3 of us, or we just put all 3 of ours in order. What do you think works better?
You could almost combine it. We could all do ours and then kind of have an aggregate and kind of do it after every weekend. You know, going into conference, it's going to be a little. You think you know, but do it after every series.
Anybody hopping on wants to come up with a list as well. Artie, if you want to come up with a list, more than welcome to, buddy.
Throw Artie's up there.
Yeah, definitely. And I bet Tim's got to have a list. Okay, Georgia Southern's traveling to a neutral site in North Augusta to face the Bull. I think they did that last year. Georgia State, I think for whatever reason, Georgia has a complex of playing these other teams at their facilities, so they make it a neutral site.
Clemson, South Carolina play a home game, and then the final game's played in Greenville. So it's
they did the exact same thing for the UNC ECU series. They played 1 game in Greenville, 1 game in Chapel Hill, and then I think 1 game in the minor league stadium in Fayetteville, I want to say. Yeah.
Interesting. Now that's not a weekend series. That's a throughout the season.
They did that on a weekend a couple weekends ago.
Yeah, they're all done within a few days.
It was like a home and away and a neutral site game all on a weekend.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Before we go, have you seen this thing going around social media with the it's a video from a hotel room, and it's all set up, but from the outside, you don't know what's going on. Maybe you think it's real. Anyway, someone's overlooking the hotel parking lot with the pool in view, but beside the pool, there's a truck parked with a trailer with all this workout equipment, and it says, at my son's U16 baseball tournament, and the team they're about to play at 10 a.m. is doing this in the parking lot, and it's showing all the guys lifting weights. The whole trailer is decked out. Guess what? It's false. It's not a U16 team. It's the Campbell Camels. They have a trailer with weightlifting. It's literally a gym that they take on the road with them.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go. Private school money right there, boys.
Got to get that bench press in, son.
Yeah. There's one guy, too, that's really funny in the comments. He walks like Johnny Bravo. Like, I think, again, it's all the video is an entire setup. It's probably a kid on the team up in the hotel room doing the video, but the caption is hilarious. That, some high school team is going to get hammered by guys twice their size because they're out there lifting weights and drinking protein powder before the game gets going.
Campbell, I'll end on this. Campbell had a guy, I can't remember his name, big redheaded dude with a beard. He led off for them and hit one like 400 feet, and then he came in relief later in the game and was throwing 94 miles per hour. Just it was they've got some talent on that team, but Campbell's good.
Yeah. And Tim said he took a picture of that. It says travel, but I think he means trailer for this past weekend. It's impressive. I will tell you that. Now, I don't know how much they use it. I would assume they're using a pretty good amount. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason they invested the money and time into making this thing, but it is a fully customized, decked out gym on wheels. It's not like, hey, there's a couple dumbbells. Like, this has got your legit equipment. So
do we get overtime pay for going over an hour and a half?
No, we lose more money.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
Oh man.
Well,
but
you guys
yeah,
have fun tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. Damo,
7 has a big day.
Yeah, I think our plan is to be parked in the stadium by like 3:30.
Nice.
3:30. Dang. All right. Well, I have to see how my work day goes, but I will plan to be there early because I think that's our best opportunity to talk to him. I know he joked with us, but I'm sure he's going to want to spend time with his family after the game's over. He ain't going to be watching, and you're going to have kids who are probably going to
– kids that got to get home and get to bed for school. So, yeah. That will be there until 8 o'clock. So, yeah. See you tomorrow, Dom, Seth. Wish you could be with us, man.
Yeah, man.
Yep. And that'll wrap it up. So we'll see you guys next week.
Sunbelt Syndicate.